Hi, this is Ron Kinscherf with Muddy River News. This is the Business Spotlight brought to you by Mercantile Bank and Rober and Phillips, attorneys at law. We have the guys from Brumbaugh Tree Service with us here today. Larry, who started the business back in
1983.
And Tyler, one of his sons, who's been there working with him
since 2014.
So how old were you when you first, you started in 2014, but did you grow up working in the business like through high school and picking up stuff when you're 12 years old?
We helped out here and there, not too much.
Okay.
I worked one summer there in high school to pay for traveling expenses to go for soccer.
Soccer and stuff like that. So when you were growing up, did you always want to be a part of the dad's business, or did you have other aspirations?
Didn't really have any aspirations at the time, no.
Okay. Just wanted to work for your dad and proceed with the tree service. So, so why did you decide to start a tree service of all things? I mean, was there something in your background growing up?
I was actually started out with somebody else. We started out together for about four and a half years, and then I decided to go on my own. It didn't work out for us, so I decided in 1983 start my own business. Go out on my own. So,
well, what was it about trees that drew you in? Because this is 40-some years you've been doing this.
I mean, people are probably going to think this is crazy, but it goes back to when I was a kid in school. I used to love drawing trees. That's about the only thing I'm good at drawing. And I don't know if that stuck with me, but it just seems like there was something I always liked was trees. And I don't know if that pulled me there or not, but I did.
So how much education is involved in doing what you do? And is the education required for you to do what you do?
Well, to become a certified arborist, there's requirements. You have to take a 200-question test. It's between 4 and 5 hour test for most people. I think 5 hours is the deadline of it. And every 3 years you have to have 30 CEUs, which is credits. You got to keep up to date with stuff. You can do online training, or you can go to seminars and stuff like that. So it isn't something once you pass that you're a lifetime member. You have to keep your education going. And if you don't get your 30 credits in every 3 years, you end up losing your certification, and you're going to have to go retest. Nobody wants to go retest because you had to study.
You start all over again, right?
You got to know about tree diseases. You got to know about cabling, planting. We have to know everything about a tree, even though we don't plant trees.
Right.
We don't put in very many like lightning rods. We have to know how to do that. You have to know how to cable and brace. You have to know the tree diseases. So there's a lot that you learn, and then you take the test on it.
Tyler, do you have the certifications too?
I do not have the certification.
Okay, so is that something you would like Ryan and Tyler to do?
Actually, both of my sons are going to be getting theirs because I'm getting towards the end of my my tenure, I guess you'd say, after 47 years of doing tree work, 42 in business, that I'm to the point where I'm starting to ease back a little bit. And, they're going to go get it. My oldest son, he's also with me. He's been with us since 2010. And Tyler's like 2014.
Right.
So I don't think they really thought about that when they were kids, that they were going to do this.
Right.
But they ended up back home after they graduated college. So I tend to say I have the most educated tree company in Quincy.
So is a tree, or is there things that are quite different about the trees? Like an elm is so different from an oak, from a spruce, and all that type of stuff.
Well,
from the way you guys approach it.
The difference in the trees are some trees you can trim certain times of the year, and some trees you can't because of certain diseases. You can actually cause disease in a tree if you do it at the wrong time of the year. Like some trees during the growing season, you don't trim them until they're dormant in the fall and over the winter.
And some bear fruit, some don't.
Okay, some bear fruit. Does that affect how you guys treat them? Is there a specific I guess it makes sense that you would have to treat those guys in a little bit different fashion.
Well, your fruit trees, you usually.
Well, yeah, you want to trim them, in the off season, not during the growing season, because that's when you're going to start getting your fruit. But we don't do a whole lot of fruit trees. That's usually up to the orchards.
Right.
I mean, we've done, we'll do people's trees in their yards. If they have apricot or a peach tree or apple tree, we know how to do them, but we don't do like an orchard would do.
So how important is keeping your trees groomed? I guess groom's the right word. How often should people come and have you guys look at their trees for grooming, or just I assume most people just let them go? Am I wrong? So is that a bad thing?
Truthfully, if you would if you look at, I mean, we have customers that we, trim their trees every couple of years, but initially, when you have your trees trimmed, we look for dead limbs,
Right.
rubbing limbs, too many limbs, because what happens in a storm with the wind blowing, the more leaves in there and the branches, it catches more wind.
Uh-huh.
And if you open it up, it lets the wind through, so it doesn't have as much chance of breaking off.
Uh-huh.
Like a thick tree is almost like a sailboat. When you have the mast up, you're going to go fast, put it down, it goes slow.
So I just thought of, so when you drive around town, you see trees that are carved up around the phone lines and electric lines and all that type of stuff. I've always wondered, is that good for a tree to be cut up that way?
Well, I have to admit, I did that for 22 years.
No, but I'm just wondering if that's...
It has to do with the Chamber of Commerce.
But is it good for the tree?
It doesn't.
It doesn't hurt the tree? Okay.
I mean, they look bad, but that all comes down from the Chamber of Commerce. So, people need to know that Ameren doesn't make those rules, or Rights Tree Service, or any of them other guys.
Right.
They just went by the rules.
Right.
Because that's what the Chamber of Commerce sets all the rules. You got to have so much foot clearance. And truthfully, a lot of private people that we see doing work are actually working way too close to the power lines because they're not qualified to be within 10 feet of the wires. So.
But it doesn't harm the... So
Not
the
really.
trees are still healthy.
Right. They just look like that. I call it the alphabet. You have V's, and you have T's, and you got C's.
Okay. So what's wedgel? Because I saw on your website that you guys do wedgel.
That's tree injection system that we use.
I'm going to let your son talk here.
Okay.
So, Tyler, what is tree injection?
It's we can use it to treat oak, acorns and fruit on trees. You can use it to reduce the sweet gums if you don't like sweet gums on your, picking those up all year. You can treat emerald ash borer, which is getting close to coming around to the end of that cycle because they've been devastating the area.
So it's just like we would get an injection, like a flu shot, something along those lines, but you can give a shot to a tree.
It's less invasive as some other injection kits where you have to actually drill into the tree. We just take a little wedgel piece out, and we put a plug in and then put the shot behind the plug.
So do you have to do that in within some sort of vascular system or sap system within the tree to have it operate properly?
Usually when it's when the sap's flowing, like not in the winter, because
not in the winter. Okay. So
summer and spring.
So how would you know if your tree requires something along those lines, or
some of it's preference. Some of the injections are just people don't like the sweet gums or a ginkgo tree because they have those slimy.
They have fruit.
That kind of that stink to them.
Is there anything to do to prevent my neighbor's spiky balls from falling in my yard?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
So you can inject those. So I can call my neighbor and say, will you please call Brumbaugh Tree Service and have them wedgel your tree?
Yes.
Okay, so will it completely stop it, or will it just...
It doesn't say 100%. I mean, I don't think
98% would be great.
Yeah, it'd be quite a bit. You do it every year.
Injection, though.
Yeah, you do
it
it every year.
If you just do one injection, you have to do, it's just like getting immunizations.
Yeah, just like, okay.
Some of them you have to do 4 or 5. Well, this has to be done every year. Otherwise, you don't have the chemical buildup in the tree.
Yeah, it'll come back.
How often you drive around town and just go, oh my God, that's awful. We got it. I mean, I wish they would call me or that. I mean,
more often than you probably think.
Oh, no, I would think it'd be a lot because it would be hard to leave your business to that side while you're just happen to be driving around town. It's like, oh, Hampshire Street looks awful.
Well, we don't put our signature on those trees.
Definitely not. So, how many people you got employed with you right now?
Just 3.
Just you guys?
4 of us.
Okay.
4 of us.
What is the investment in terms of equipment that you guys have? And I don't mean a dollar amount, but trucks. You got to have.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have like a bucket truck if you want to start out.
Okay.
That's how he started, with just climbing.
Okay.
But
yeah, for 11 years I climbed until I could afford to buy a bucket truck and then move up.
Okay.
I mean, just the basics would be just a pickup truck and maybe a trailer if you don't have a chipper. Yeah, just a haul brush.
But you guys do from cradle to grave with your business, right? Because you can do all the way, cut them down and do the stumping
stump
too.
grinder,
Yeah.
Chippers.
Okay. So, but how many of those things do you? I'm just trying to think. Do you have a fleet of stuff that you have at your disposal?
We have like 2 bucket trucks. We have 2 chippers. We got 2 stump grinders. We got a ton truck to haul. We got pickup trucks and got lots of chainsaws.
Okay. Is there a busy season for you guys?
all year round.
Is it all year round?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever thought about having a Christmas tree farm? Did it ever cross your mind?
No,
Hasn't crossed mine. But
no.
No, I just thinking you guys do trees. I thought maybe that would be maybe.
That's a lot of work.
Is it really?
We have enough to do with just taking care of trees, believe me.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah,
And telling us
thank you.
about your business. This is the Brumbaugh family running Brumbaugh Tree Service. This is Ron Kinscherf. This has been the President's Spotlight, brought to you by Mercantile Bank and Rover & Phillips Attorneys at Law.